Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome aboard the Jagdtiger. The Jagdtiger is one of the great all-time machines of, well, not just the German tech tree, but overall in War Thunder, right? And it has a battle rating of 7.0, which it shares with its predecessor, or successor rather, the Kanonjagdpanzer 4.5, which is very different in design, which I will feature also a bit later on. Today's video is definitely about, CAS, then also where the Jagdtiger shines, and where it is not that great. Also, I will further just quickly talk about small and big maps. And I think Gaijin really trolls us all hard with the fact that on big maps we see like 10 versus 10 players, and on big maps, on small maps rather, we see a full 16 versus 16. And well, I don't like that. I think it's a complete waste of opportunities. Hell, even wargaming addresses the players' desire for bigger maps with the full out 32 versus 32 game mode that it's still being tested, but they're making more effort about it than Gaijin. Gaijin has already the maps. It's a huge misplay of actually implementing simple things that are already there in the game into the gameplay, which is something that I don't like. I'm not talking about two specific things here, but one is mentioned here, which is the matchmaker for the certain maps. I have talked about the map rotation that is also strange, to put it that way. And again, I have to say, if you on play on this map or on other big maps where you just have not a lot of enemies to shoot at and where you just feel obsolete because you want to grind this one vehicle at that specific battle rating and you are bound to the map rotation, even if you have tried to squad up with some other persons to force a change in the map rotation, at least for one of you, then you begin to really dislike the map. And at the end, you go on the forum, you post, "Oh, big maps suck." And that's the only thing Gaijin reads. So they make then the maps small. And I picked this battle because it was the most successful one, and I actually used a lineup. Now the lineup is far from perfect. I will get a lot of criticism for it. This T-29 didn't see a Jagdtiger right in front of him and turned the side a bit more of him. And now we have to talk about the things. Could I have done what I achieved so far not as well in another tank? Well, there was the shot from the T-32 and also this Super Pershing that I successfully absorbed. Yes, that allowed me to still live on and to fight on. But what to do now? Look at the position. My team now has all three capture zones, and the big mess that the German team is now doing together with the Russian team that I want to point out is pushing. We have the advantage. Why just not go into in a defensive position and let the enemy push? Use the great defensive potential of some of the German tanks. And yes, I am guilty of this myself right here. But there is a problem. If I just stay back, then at some point the tanks in front of me get killed. They don't get the heavy support, and ultimately I will get surrounded, and there's just so much that you can do in a Jagdtiger, especially against certain tanks. Now in this case, we don't have the IS-6. By the way, have you seen the Reddit post about the wrong IS-6 turret front armor? Oh, why has nobody ever talked about this? Why has nobody ever, made test shootings to prove that? Ah. I'm sorry about my sarcasm here, but it really annoyed the hell out of me. Much like the planes that we'll see later on. It's said that CAS is destroyed, CAS is nerfed and so on. I say, well, just one part of it. And that is rockets. So it's not the ruffle stomp kills anymore that are so easily possible. Again, the Soviets don't use AAAs too often in this match, and also the German teammates as well. And now I have to say, I even don't use a AAA in my lineup. I just don't see the value of it. And in this match, this is one of the few times where I thought to myself, maybe a AAA would have been useful, but then we have to talk about other things, and that is the mobility. The German mobility of the AAAs are bad. Some of them have decent armor, but then again, even the mighty Cruelium is slow, and its armor means not a lot when it gets shot by tanks. And even by aircraft, you know, it still can get bombed, rocketed, and even cannon CAS is danger tank. I have seen that. I've seen that to myself. And now watch. I stay behind the ridgeline, and I do target prioritization, not the M36 or what it was, but the T29. So, and then I reverse for the reload. For numerous reasons. I want to hide my position. I want to observe this guy where it's going. I do not want him to ping the map position where I am. And I want him to hide in a position where I still can shoot him, because he thinks the shot for the T29 came from another direction. And now watch this. It takes so long for me to get the gun stable enough to shoot, and then I do an over penetration. Because I have 28mm of fuse sensitivity, one of the big drawbacks for German APHE in my opinion. And I cannot even elevate the gun. Yeah, I could have waited on the ridgeline, granted, but ultimately it costs me a second shot. And, as we will see in a moment, it will also cost me the opportunity to decap C. And I get shot through the house. It hits some part of the armor that is weirdly angled, so it doesn't penetrate. It's a T95. I cannot do anything from the front by a T29, T95 rather. And I get bombed in front of me. I reverse in time, and then bombs all around me. They are dropped really poorly. They are not the big one-ton bombs, otherwise I would have been dead. I see this T29. He doesn't see me, and I just stand still, and I reverse to have a better angle if he decides to go around the house, but I have to go forwards because there was another bomb. So by this point in time, the T29 should know that there is a German tank, and again, poor bomb drop. The T29 gives me the side of his tank, really. And then his T95 tries to flip over a flipped over American tank, or tries to have fun with him. He shoots not the track, he doesn't shoot the gun barrel, he shoots the front of the casement. And there is not much that I can do. Now I first want to remove this guy and then reload behind the house. But before I can go into cover, well, the T95 tracks me. That might have been a little bit of misplay. However, look at the repair time for a single track on an otherwise undamaged, unhurt tank with a full expert crew, with a full crew and everything maximized aside an ace crew. No crew members lost, nothing. And watch this little plane from behind. Yeah, he suicide bombs me with 50kg bombs. Gaijin, this is so much fun, I have no words for this. And enemy planes will still be an issue with this. So first of all, I try to go into, a plane. So good German CAS planes, cannon CAS, best CAS of all time. By the way, if you ask yourself which kind of ammunition I use the APHE for the 50mm. It has around about 97mm of penetration, and you still have to hit your targets at a very steep angle. So you need to work around with the convergence of your gun. You need to know how to aim. You need to climb to get into a steep dive that you also can pull out of, which is not the easiest thing to do with German planes. Then there are enemy allied planes in the air, which I cannot do a lot in this plane. And I want to look at where the T95 was previously, but I cannot see it. And I get blasted out of the air by a M42 Duster. That was a really nice shot by him, but I had no idea where he was. And then I used the Tau 152C3. A beautiful plane. I love the look of it, but I hate to fly it because I think it's one of the worst planes handling wise, by being promised us to be one of the greatest planes at that battle rating. It's the last creation of Kurt Tank, and I think it's just a shame that it handles the way it does. It has no high altitude performance, it cannot really turn. The roll rate is okayish, but then if you try to roll into the other direction to do defensive flying, it behaves like a bloody medium bomber, really. I see the M42 Duster shooting me, so I changed my flight path a little bit, so it's not too easy for him to shoot at me. I saw the dot near the Horten 229, and it looks like an M47, a P47M, and that is a bloody dangerous aircraft. Now, maybe the Horten could deal with him, but better safe than sorry, And now what to do next? I heard a jet behind me, that must have been the Horten. Now I'm looking for the SBAA, but I want to get altitude again. I look behind me and oh look, a jet, a P-80, a bad plane, right? So let's do defensive flying. Here's air brakes, I have none of those. Here's 50 cals, I have not, and I try to, whatever. I'm just a bad pilot. And even if I would have made him overshoot, there is no chance for me to reverse it and to shoot him down. If you know what he's doing and just pulling up, because I have no energy and no energy retention, no elevator authority, and I don't have even enough spawn points for the B409 E4 to be equipped with a single bomb. So much hurrah for the spawn point system. Yes, I just wasted 2 planes, but then again, it's not rocket CAS, it's not bomb CAS. I tried the cannons, and what should I say? They suck. They still bounce off very often. You very often crash with the German flight modes being so crap, and it's just pure frustration. It's not competitive, it's not fair. And rockets are still very strong, and in just a few moments we will see how strong 50 cals are. And here I am in the Hanuman Henschel Jagdpanzer 4.5, which has the same battle rating as the predecessor, the Jagdtiger. So I need a quick tank, because if you have noticed, the spawn point situation is a bit funny. At the beginning we had 3 of them, and we just whittled down the enemy team to 29 points. So we just need 1 more kill to win the game, and you would just have lost all 3 capture zones. Spoiler alert, we will not get C, B will get recaptured, and the entire German team is trying to do a team effort to go to A. And I thought to myself, well, I need to go to A. And I have upgraded this tank, so mobility wise it's nearly there, okay? And then I see this AAA, this M42 Duster apparently, and I cannot let him get away with it. And maybe this was a little bit of a kill steal, but I had to make sure he dies. And at that position he could have ambushed one of the German tanks coming around the corner, and M42 Duster is still more than capable with the AP belt to go through the side of a Panther, or track the enemy tank in position and make him vulnerable by flanking and so forth, German tanks lack the maneuverability, that's a fact. And here I think to myself, well, I'm on a good way to go to A. Oh no, oh no, oh. That's the P-80. That's the P-80, my friends. He killed half my crew, he set the engine on fire and killed it, and I have, what, 35 seconds repair time? Gaijin, this is so much fun. I have no words for this. It was not even a rocket or a bomb. It were 50 cals. And here he comes again. So much fun. So much fun. And I can't do anything against it. Now, if I would have used something like the Ostwind or even the Coelian, I would not have been fast enough, in my opinion, at that point in time, to go in this into A. And then, what could I have done about a potential tank? And I burned for the third time. So it's always this massive trade-off that German tanks need to have. Either they have decent armor like the Jagdtiger, Maus, E100 or Tiger 2, but then they're pathetically slow to, you know, react to things on a big map. Because, you know, the long-range shooting is not given. Even on this big map, most shots are like, again, right in the face because of the spawn zones. Yeah, I'm really annoyed about this message. Gaijin, I know how to do this stuff. Can you get this stuff out of your system, please? And so, the only tank that I should have gotten was the Panther 2. Yeah, it was a bit of a mistake, but I was like, I should use the Hannover potential because it is so good. You know, it's like the turreted version of the RE251, which is a premium tank and sits at a lower battle rating. Reasons, you know. So, what is the message of this match? I wanted to show you why I don't use lineups, because in my opinion, they're hardly worth it. And most of the time, in like 90% of the cases, I jump out of the match after I have been destroyed in the tank that I intend to play. I'm not advertising it to you, so it's up to you. But people just say, you know, you should stay in the match. But for me, it's just a waste of time. Tank RB is just annoying in so many aspects. Yes, when it works, when you have the win and you had a good match and survive it, that's awesome. And this is what I want to, you know, just advertise. Try to stay alive. Try to teamwork and so forth. But this constant, you know, getting spawn camped, which did not happen in this match, but in most matches it happens. The constant air attacks still are highly annoying, and I'm sorry that I did not go into a AAA or bailed out and tried to stay in the Jagdtiger. It just didn't come to my mind to jump out, and then what? What to do against the T95? The Jagdtiger is probably the only tank that the T95 has to think about what to do, you know, loading APCR and whittling down the crew. And then the Jagdtiger is the tank where people say, look, Germany is overpowered. Yes, people have said that to me. At that battle rating. I tried to respade the Jagdtiger, by the way. And we will see later on how this turns out. This match actually took like the full 30 minutes nearly, something like this. So I cut out already a large portion of the driving into the capture zone and so forth at the beginning of the match, which took like 5 minutes. And just one clarification about big maps. What I think when I advertise big maps is the long range shooting, the tactical aspects, and more players. And it's such a bad joke at the hands of Gaijin to say, we give you big map, but we make it very, very uncomfortable. We give you big map all the time with just 10 players per team on the enemy team and your team. Then you will cry for small maps. And this is what people actually do. They jump on the forums, say, those big maps suck. They're practically a waste of time. Yes, that's correct. They are unfun to play. Yes, that's correct. And it's just so much more rewarding to play on smaller maps where there are more players. That is correct. And one of the missing links is the amount of players. So in this match I was actually very lucky to have a full team on Fulda. And let's have a look at the income. 74,000 silver lines and just under 5,000 research points. But the story that is not told, despite being first on the team, which means nothing for me, is the real income and what I actually gained for the Jagdtiger, which is the tank that I want to spade. Not a lot. So first of all, you can see the progress on the smoke grenade. It's pitiful for a good match. And then just a third of my income was actually profit. So much for the repair costs and all that nonsense. So that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you understood the message of this video, why I don't use lineups, why I think they are a waste of time, and I'm not bringing up a solution here, this is not a rhyme, but this is my personal opinion because of matches like this, and I was very lucky that we actually didn't lose this. So give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields of War Thunder, and next time hopefully with a more fun match.